FIDIC contracts are well known all over the world, and they represent the best practice of construction contracts and include all the developments that have been achieved over decades of such construction contracts development by FIDIC. And these are recognized by international financing institutions as well. So if you are aware of these contracts details and how they are used worldwide, and you know ins and outs of these provisions, and you use these provisions properly, this is almost a kind of a reassurance for your project success. Regardless how popular these forms of contracts are all over the world, we may face quite time to time some inappropriate use of these forms of contracts. So these are because of misunderstanding or not understanding certain important provisions, or simply just the contract documents are not drafted properly and there are several contradictions and inadequate details for these contracts. Quite frequently we may find that certain parties try to misuse their rights in the contract, and that impacts to a large extent in the success of the project at the end of the day. It is important to remember it is always the employer taking the first step towards FIDIC conditions of contracts. So the key decisions are made by the employers. Therefore, I'm very much keen on receiving more and more employers joining FIDIC trainings, because they need to be educated about the details of these contracts. In case they don't take appropriate decisions, the whole project may go astray, and sometimes it's too late to bring it back. And of course, it is not just the employer is expected to understand and speak that language, what we call FIDIC. On the other part, it is the contractor. And if they understand the contracts properly and the details of the contract, it's much easier for them to conclude a successful contract and a successful project at the end of the day. But we do need to have them around the table and be open to negotiate. And sometimes this is not properly understood by either party, that the other counterpart is not necessarily protecting their own interests, but they try to achieve something which is a win-win situation at the end of the day. Quite frequently, despite of the best endeavors of the parties, construction contracts may arrive to a dispute stage. So FIDIC conditions of contracts offer very suitable solutions how to deal with your disputes. But first and foremost, you should not write the DAB or DAAB from your contract. That's the first step to understand. DABs are considered quite frequently be overly expensive, but I think it is the money spent time appropriately in order to avoid disputes. And I have to emphasize avoidance. This is a new feature in FIDIC recent forms, and this is something that could help parties indeed to save an awful lot of time not spent on disputes, but rather for avoidance. Therefore, I hugely recommend to include DAAB in your contracts and allow them to participate, recognizing and resolving your troubles before they escalate to be a dispute. Being one of the FIDIC international trainers, even after concluding more than 100 international trainings, each of such training occasions brings something new for me. There are some specific locations for such trainings where I come with my special passion and interest, and one of those locations is Belgrade. I really sincerely admire SS efforts in organizing these trainings, and there is one thing I always start my trainings, and I think that describes everything. I always mention my audience that learning about FIDIC contracts and dealing with construction contracts is a lifelong learning for everyone, including myself. And these trainings offer me an excellent opportunity to learn from my audience's cases and help them to resolve, at least to some extent. And all these trainings are inspiring me very much, and I'm always very thankful to SS giving me this opportunity. Thank you for attending my trainings.